Hey guys, Tom Dorzapolsky here. I wanted to provide a brief video update on the regularly scheduled board meeting that was last Thursday. Now, it is Tuesday. I usually do this a little quicker, but I did that call from a vacation with my family. We rented a house up in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and it already got the crooked eye from the wife for going out to the computer and sitting out there for 2 hours. So I decided to shut the computer down and just enjoy being with family and unplug for a little bit, and it was wonderful. Blue Ridge, Georgia is fantastic. So back to business. This past board meeting, I made a few opening remarks, one of which I'll reiterate here. There is a feral cat or stray cat problem in our community. We put out traps to humanely capture and deliver those animals to animal control, and that's the way it should be done. It is inappropriate and against county statute to feed cats in that manner. We'd ask you not to do that. It actually creates a dangerous environment for the animals. You might see these cute kitties coming up and eating on your back porch. However, there are many other cats in the community, and they establish dominance in certain areas and attack and kill one another to protect that food that you're leaving out. So it's not healthy for the animals. And it's not healthy for our community when you have cat poop and damage to your property because of that. We will continue to trap. We will continue to send them off in a humane manner. Anyone who, and I have to trust this was just a bad joke. Sometimes people have interesting senses of humor. But somebody said they were going to leave antifreeze out for those animals to drink. Of course, it would kill them. The problem with that is, besides the fact it's terribly inhumane and a horrible way to die, domestic animals like your own pet cat or your neighbor's pet could find that antifreeze, or a puppy, or a child, or a raccoon, or a deer, or a bird. That's just completely inappropriate, so that won't be tolerated. I don't think we've had a single case of that happening. A lot of times, what do they call them? Those people that get on and bluster. They pop off, but then they're the ones that will never actually say anything in person or actually ever do anything. They just get real bold behind the keyboard. So we have some keyboard warriors around, and they do their thing. But if that's found, we'll report it to the authorities as a form of animal abuse, and I would imagine that comes with a pretty serious fine, if not more serious charges. So we would ask you to not ever do that. On with the agenda, however, we did our regular business. We opened the meeting with opportunity for owner comment right at the start. We did it again at the end of the meeting so that you can always feel like you can address your board with your thoughts and concerns and ideas. Cindy Rainey went through, board member and treasurer went through our financial report, super detailed. It takes about 20 minutes to kind of roll through the different pieces and parts of our finances, from reserve categories and components to special assessment funding to money we saved, converting gas to electric heat and pool, blah, blah, blah. But I think you would be impressed if you ever had the opportunity to sit through that, to know that your money is being, carefully monitored and spent and recorded, etc., on your behalf by volunteer board members who are owners just like you. We received the manager's report from Ms. Suzanne Bishop, our community manager. She kind of goes through accomplishments with her front office team, the maintenance team, major projects coming down the pipeline, all sorts of items like that. Usually a very thorough report. Then we got into new business. Let's see here. What did we do first? I think the first thing we covered, I shuffled the order a little bit because we had a guest speaker. We talked about our roads. There was a process called pavement preservation seal and crack. And we had a technical expert come and brief the board on what that means. We also had several owners that have extensive experience with road building and contracting contribute to that conversation. That was very helpful. So we're obviously in the process of examining repaving our roads, resurfacing our roads so that they're in better condition. We have reserve funds set aside to work towards that goal and achieve that. But again, this is just part of the methodical, deliberate, open process of moving towards a solution. So 6 months from now, when we sign a contract, someone will say, I can't believe they just did that from the hip. Not doing it from the hip. Lots of discussion, lots of discovery, lots of consultation. But between our manager and service providers, the board, and open board meetings. And I have weekly standing briefings with the manager every Tuesday morning, and then throughout the entire week we're in contact with one another constantly. So nothing ever just happens, as you're probably painfully aware sometimes when you want it to happen quicker. So we're looking at that. We approved the addition of another individual to the building and compliance roster. I read owner comments regarding pet registration. This is kind of cool, and I'll try to get to the end of this video real quick. The Budget and Finance Committee meets. You're invited to participate in that environment. Again, it's open for you. It is comprised of owners, so there's not an outside government that does anything to you. We are you. We are the owners. You have an opportunity to lead and participate on committees. That committee meets and reviews our finances, how much it costs operationally to run things, how much money we need to set aside for the rainy day, the future, like rebuilding roads. And in that process, they also review fees of all types. And one fee they examined took the one-time pet registration fee of $25 and turned it into an annual fee. And that happened in the course of open dialogue with lots of people in the room, and the budget and all that was sent out to all the owners. You had it for 14 days and it was passed. And I get that not many people read through that stuff. But when it came time in January and they got the bill, they read it. And we received quite a bit of feedback. And after careful review of that, and after debating openly in the board meeting that particular item, the board voted unanimously to make that just a one-time fee. Because we do have to handle paperwork, there's staff time, you get a badge for your leash, and there's some expense associated with that so that someone can bring their pet in. And so that's a case where owners spoke up and were heard. And we received really thoughtful emails, carefully crafted, sharing their concerns behind that fee. They brought it to the board. My job as a president is to represent the owners. I have a dog. It didn't really affect. I didn't really react to it being annual or one time. It just didn't affect me. I didn't react to it. But that doesn't mean it was my job to represent you. So we brought it up and it got reversed, and that's a good thing for those who care about that. And then Suzanne Bishop presented a really cool concept. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Venture Out in Cudjoe Key. If I'm not saying that wrong, but there's a Venture Out in the Florida Keys. And in some ways it's a sister community, completely unaffiliated with us, but the developer did a few of us around the country, and that's one. And when you go down there, you'll notice in the front office they have a little mart. There's a little place you can grab toilet paper or paper towels, or if you're out of dish soap, or you need a candy bar, or just, kind of resort style little kiosk. Kind of like you might also find in a hotel off next to the registration if you wanted to grab a few things for your room in a hotel. So we found a solution for that, and Suzanne presented that to the board. Really cool opportunity for us. And the board members had some technical questions. Things like, how will the security camera that monitors their little space connect to our network? Does it compromise any of our network? Who pays for electricity if they have a refrigerator? What is the breakup in the contract? How can we get out of the contract if we're unhappy? If there's food spoilage or theft, who's liable for that? Good things. And Suzanne did a great job gathering all that information and bringing it to the board. There were a few more questions here and there, so she's going to go back and work with that vendor to find that out. But we could very well see that in the coming weeks, maybe by season, we have a little store up there in the front office for folks to use. So kind of a cool amenity. That's the end of the official agenda. Couple things that tend to come up. What's going on with the special assessment? There's a report available to you if you want to see each and every item and how much was spent and the status of it. We've accomplished a great deal off that list. I think the big ticket item that a lot of people are looking at is the back pavilion. And we are very carefully moving through that process. We have plans for the back pavilion. We've received some quotes for that. Receiving quotes in this market for somebody to come out and build a $150,000 or $200,000 pavilion, that's not a big job a lot of folks want to go after. And I mean, that's good money to me. But if you're in a construction business in Bay County right now, and even surrounding counties when we call, getting a pure steel building quote, we're finding people to be unresponsive. We've got a few quotes for one built out of wood like the previous building. So we're trying to navigate that and make the right decision for the community. We believe that it should be aesthetically congruent with the look and feel that is established back there. A community should look as though it was planned, not have an aluminum tin roof building next to a brick building next to a wood cabin style building. That's dramatically exaggerated, but we do want it to look nice for our owners back there, so that your investment is cared for. And we have an opportunity to replace that pavilion in a way that does that. So we're navigating that right now. Again, as in many cases, if this was your own company, I'd run my own company, I'd have pulled the trigger on this, we'd have construction underway. It's that simple. But we have a large, diverse, representative board that has experience and opinions that I respect, and we all should respect. And we have an even bigger body of owners who have opinions. So nothing moves really, really fast, which I guess is good in some ways. But we will move through this pavilion process, and we will see a pavilion back there in the near future, and I'm excited about that. So there's your briefing. You got to do a board meeting in just under 12 minutes when it took us 2 hours. So congratulations on that. I do encourage you to remain engaged and involved, and thank you for your time. Good night.